With the 2023 NFL Draft coming up, I'm going through the best of every positional group in this class. This is the fifth adaptation of the series, this time going through the top 5 offensive tackles and top 5 interior offensive linemen. With a lot of options for any team needing a blocker up front, these are the 10 best offensive linemen in the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm Chase Keller, and I hope you enjoy. For both positions, there are guys who barely missed out on the top 5. For offensive tackles, Ohio State tackle Dawand Jones came in at number 6 with a B, and North Dakota State tackle Cody Mauch came in at number 7 with a B-. For interior offensive linemen, Alabama guard Emil Ekiyor Jr. came in at 6 with a C grade, and many other guards came in with a C-. Starting at the bottom of the list with offensive tackles, I have Oklahoma tackle Anton Harrison coming in at number 5. This offensive tackle class is stacked from front to back with top-heavy first-year starting talent and great depth pieces that can be selected in later rounds. While Harrison is number 5, he is one of 6 tackles who can make an immediate impact for any franchise. Harrison's positives start with his vitals and overall frame. He stands at 6'4", passing with a manageable height where he will not struggle with any sized edge rusher. Possibly his most appealing physical attribute is his arm length with his build. His length allows him to mirror pass rushers when dropping in pass protection and quickly push forward and create a gap in run blocking. Out of the two, pass blocking is easily his more dominant threat. As I mentioned before, his length gives him opportunities to mirror pass rushers no matter the size, speed, or power. He is also a solid athlete for an offensive tackle and maintains speed off the edge by either locking right to where they are attacking or pushing them off their rush. Run blocking is a hole in his resume, as while he offers enough range and power to create gaps, he lacks a top-tier stamina to hold the run defender for long enough. Because of this, he may work worse with patient runners, should not be relied on for outside runs, and lacks any versatility across the line. The versatility that he does hold, though, is play versatility. He is a consistent blocker with abilities to maintain skill throughout any play, including pass and run, along with blocks where he may need to motion over or go upfield to find a defender. Harrison can improve on his overall technique, whether it is pass blocking or run blocking. His hand placement is too often hurting his chances at winning his matchup. His hands do sometimes go in the wrong spot, and no matter the placement, he can overall time his attack better. Because of the poor technique, he is prone to losing matchups against quick and elusive edge rushers. Overall, Harrison has the traits to be a reliable and elite offensive tackle. If he can improve on his technique and leverage, which is inevitable if he falls in the right scheme, he will be great. Because of that, he does have the upside to be the best tackle in this draft. For now, Harrison gets a B+ grade, translating to an early second-round pick. Coming in at number 4 for offensive tackles, I have Tennessee's Darnell Wright. With a lot of blocking experience and a great football program, he has the appeal to be an early draft pick. He does have concerns, but his top attributes help confirm the early pick rumors. Wright's all-around leverage is what starts his list of great traits and tendencies. From the snap, he immediately gets his hands into the opposing defender and puts them into a quick shock. He has the strength to hold that defender there for a while, which extends his importance and impact as both a pass blocker and a run blocker. He also works with any rusher, proving his grit on the gridiron. In the film that I watched, he consistently gave every rusher, no matter the size or speed, absolute hell. I want to point out their win over Alabama in 2022, as Wright held his own against Byron Young, all of Alabama's linebackers, and most importantly, Will Anderson Jr. struggled when matched up against Wright. In fact, I noticed that Dallas Turner, who still struggled a little bit, won the most matchups against him. To add on to these great positives, Wright is very versatile to the point where you can place him anywhere except for center, left side and right side included. Because of his ability to match with any defender, he can play wherever you would like as long as it doesn't involve snapping the football. While Wright is versatile, he played a majority of his snaps at right tackle, which immediately brings his grade down. Teams needing an offensive tackle are likely to look for their franchise left tackle, and while Wright can play the position, he does not have the preferred experience that teams look for. Wright may also be too scheme specific as he requires space to work best. In run blocking, this theory is disregarded, but constantly in pass protection, he lost several matchups on both the inside and outside when not given enough space to work. Rushers who swap positions give Wright the most trouble. If he is given the space to work, he has the length to keep a rusher as a non-factor in the pass game. Finally, Wright is just an okay athlete with okay everything. Speed, explosive, lateral movement, all of it is just okay, with nothing special to particularly improve on. Wright makes a fantastic offensive line prospect, but due to his lack of experience at left tackle, he will miss out on being one of the first tackles taken off the board. Nonetheless, his versatility and on-point technique should draw in potential investors. I'm giving Wright a B+ grade, translating to an early second-round pick talent. The top 3 are a very tough list, and at number 3, I have Ohio State left tackle Paris Johnson Jr. Johnson is a great player and prospect, but with the amount of studs at offensive tackle, he falls to third best. Just because he is number 3 does not mean he is a lackluster prospect. In fact, Johnson has the second highest upside of any top-tier tackle in this draft. We will get to number 1 later. Johnson's perfect aggression is what starts his skill set. He is a very aggressive blocker with a high motor who uses his explosiveness to charge linemen backwards in both run and pass blocking. What's great about this aggression is that it's controlled. He is rarely too aggressive, which helps him stay on a rusher. Some of the tackles in this draft do tend to be overly aggressive and inconsistent in this aspect. His aggression is a nod to his overall athleticism. He has explosiveness but also has solid speed, lateral movement, and can be shifted to hit any man. In the run game at OSU, he was used as a first priority upfield blocker and will likely see a lot of these snaps in the NFL. For pass blocking though, he could improve. Again, he is athletic across the line, but he needs more development as an all-around pass blocker, whether it's with leverage, technique, footwork, or tendencies. He hits early on the line with run blocking, but because of dropbacks on pass blocking, he can't use that immediate punch and often allows rushers to punch him first. He does have upside as a pass blocker, primarily due to his manageable length. If he can keep solid range on the outside, he will be a nice blocker after development. Development is key though, as he does have only 1 season at left tackle with Ohio State. As a general tackle, his development is fine enough, but to be the premier blindside and franchise left tackle, he will need to develop more into that one position. Finally, his functional strength should see some improvements at the next level. Jumping to the NFL means facing more powerful bull rushers, more speedy edge rushers, and rushers with an elite combination of both. So improving on general strength will be a must for Johnson. Rounding him out, Johnson is a high upside franchise tackle who has a good amount of concerns. Yet, everything can be developed at the next level, and he could become an all-time great tackle. I'm giving Johnson an A- grade, which translates to a mid to late first round pick. Coming in at number 2 is Northwestern left tackle Peter Skoronski. In many other years, Skoronski could have easily been the number 1 left tackle, but he has to settle for number 2 despite his amazing skill set with high upside. Skoronski's biggest strength is his technique and leverage. He is fantastic at blocking off the edge and securing edge rushers in multiple ways. In pass protection, he works with great footwork, and once he makes contact with the defender, his hand placement, his grip, his lateral movement, and just about everything is nearly perfect. His already developed technique is going to translate greatly for the NFL. In run protection, he immediately makes great contact with consistency, and his hand placement primarily helps him become a premier run blocker. He is also very versatile because of his technique in both threats. He can play outside and inside, as well as fit in many different schemes. He is a quick adapter to both offensive tendencies and overall offense, so he should work with any team. His athleticism is also very solid for an offensive lineman. He does show his athleticism more in the run game through immediate explosiveness, and in the pass game he could improve on it a little bit to mirror the speedy edge rushers. Speaking of, he does struggle against the more elusive edges. His technique does allow for a nice lock and protect, but any moves not involving contact is something that Skoronski could be better against. This is primarily due to his length, as it does not fit the typical standard for an NFL offensive tackle, especially a blindside blocker. His length also contributes to struggles in picking up blitzes. He is smart and aware of these blitzes, but not having that traditional length to stray away from his original assignment to an incoming blitzer is a slight concern. What separates Skoronski from these other offensive linemen is his technique. While he does fall out of tradition with some attributes, his already developed technique will make him an immediate NFL starter. I'm giving Skoronski an A grade, which translates to an early to mid first round talent. Rounding out the top 5 offensive tackle list is star Georgia tackle Broderick Jones. I absolutely love the electricity that Jones brings as a prospect, and the film does not say different. From several developed traits to the best upside in this class, Jones has it all. Jones has a great amount of athleticism, especially for an offensive tackle. His athleticism helps him play versatile in both scheme and play, whether it's exploding to make a run block, dropping back with quick feet ready to combat an elusive move, or blocking upfield for any reason. He has speed as well, clocking a 1.74 10-yard split, and as a former basketball player, he has the vertical traits as well. He is just an all-around great athlete for his size. Jones is also an elite tempo blocker. I watched their matchup against Ohio State in the 2022 Peach Bowl, and he was efficiently blocking at any pace, slow tempo, medium tempo, or fast tempo. He was especially fantastic at this against Ohio State, but in further film watching, he has always been great with tempo blocking. In the fast tempo especially, he is sometimes too aggressive with his technique, allowing simple sweep moves to get past him. He is slightly inexperienced, only seeing 19 starts at tackle in college, but the aggression can easily be fixed in the NFL. The aggression does work, as I mentioned with Paris Johnson, but he does need to maintain it instead of going too aggressive. The inexperience also translates to a lack of awareness. He has improved with it, but at Georgia, he missed a significant amount of blitzing defenders, and against a creative defense, he may pay the price. The thing I love most about Jones is his upside. His talent with his amount of experience is a massive nod to his fast development, and if he keeps developing, he has the ceiling to be one of the greatest offensive tackles the league has ever seen. The upside is there, but with a solid amount of concerns, he's not an A-plus prospect. Yet, his upside is an A++, and he has already proven his talent with a successful stint at Georgia. I'm giving Jones an A grade, which translates to an early to mid first round talent. Kicking off the interior offensive line list is TCU lineman Steve Avila. Avila has been an All-American the last 2 seasons, yet his tape can show that's a little deceiving. Nonetheless, he's still a high-quality interior offensive line prospect. Strength is required and typical in interior linemen, but Avila's strength is near top-notch. His technique isn't crazy, but because it's manageable, he is always knocking interior linemen off and bringing a quick shock to them. He does struggle with speed rushers, but on the inside, it shouldn't be the biggest issue. As long as he presents a functional strength, which is more than functional in his case, he will be okay. He is also versatile across the interior line. He saw snaps at center and guard throughout his career, and he showed efficiency at both spots. He is better on the right side of the line, but nonetheless, having the ability to snap the ball as a center and play against several types of rushers as a guard is very important. He also has great upfield blocking, which he showed at all of the positions he played at TCU. This trait made him a solidified run blocker that NFL teams are going to praise going into this draft. The problem with Avila, though, is that his film kind of brought his grade down a bit. I saw many occasions where even in double team scenarios, he was being beaten and allowed immediate pressure. He wasn't allowing sacks too much, but that's possibly because his quarterback was Max Duggan, one of the best quarterbacks in college football in terms of pocket mobility. He also needs immediate contact, which may have contributed to a surprisingly low win rate. In many situations, he failed to prevent pressure while either delaying contact or when switching assignments. He needed that immediate contact to be most effective in pass protection. He also lacks a solidified lateral movement, which takes away a lot of scheme opportunities for him. He is likely going to be drafted into a gap scheme because of the amount of traits he lacks. As a prospect, Avila fell for me, but he still maintained a top 5 appearance on this list. He has fantastic strength and versatility that will be looked at no matter the blocking skill. I'm giving Avila a C+, which translates to a mid to late third round pick. Coming in at number 4, I have Wisconsin center Joe Tippmann. Tippmann is an interesting prospect to me, and while I have some major concerns for him as an interior lineman, he may be able to pass as an overall lineman if he falls in the right scheme. Tippmann already has a solid skill set formed, Starting with his physical attributes, he absorbs contact very easily, and while he does struggle to hit first on run blocking, which I'll discuss later, his pass protection skills are very notable, as at the next level, absorbing contact is going to be key to holding any rusher. To add on to his physical traits, he has solid athleticism as well. At 6'6", 313 pounds, he surprisingly holds a chunk of athleticism, commonly pulling off upfield blocks at efficient paces. Especially in the second line of defense, he's consistently pushing linebackers either away from the ball or to the ground. He also has a lot of experience. Being only a junior, he has 22 starts at center, performing in one of the best rushing teams in the Big Ten. Speaking of the run blocking, he was a fantastic run blocker in college, but at the next level, he will be tested, as he has tendencies to manipulate his ability to absorb contact. Those tendencies may not fly at the next level, as stronger defensive linemen will make him pay. Especially when you note that his footwork and balance could use some improvements, he may not have the best run blocking ability at the next level. He is solid at mirroring his assignment, but with run blocking, if a defender gets around him, he loses his balance trying to recover and trips himself up. This will affect both aspects of blocking, but for at least the pass, he has slightly more time to prepare his footing. His overall technique can also be questioned at the next level. Along with his footwork, he may be prone to holding calls because of his technique. If defenders get around him, his placement will either get him wrapped up with the defender and 100% get a penalty against him, or he will have his arm wrapped around him like a hug, which surprisingly doesn't get called more than it should. Overall, Tippmann is a solid prospect who has many things that he will need to fix to transfer to the next level. Despite that, his combination of size, strength, and athleticism is appealing enough. I'm giving Tippmann a C+ grade, which translates to a mid to late third round pick. In the middle of this list at number 3, I have Ohio State center Luke Wypler. Ohio State's offensive line is stacked with NFL talent, and Wypler's the third OSU lineman in this video that has either received a spot on a list or has been an honorable mention. Nonetheless, he is a notable interior offensive lineman that shocked me through film. Wypler's technique is the best that I've scouted out of these first 3 interior linemen. His consistent hand placement and footwork helps him stay balanced and squared throughout the entire rep. He is rarely nagged for holding calls, and while he isn't the absolute strongest guy, his technique helps hold off rushers for long enough. His technique is shown most in pass blocking. His footwork stays great and he stays poised through contact. He also has great instincts in pass protection, and he is widely aware of his surroundings, including how close he is to accounting for a pressure. When it comes to run blocking, he does have points where it may not develop nicely to the NFL. Wypler has balance issues and he struggles to absorb contact. He also isn't the greatest at upfield blocking because of his average athleticism for the position. With all of this being said, he may fit better into a guard role going forward. Wypler also has solid range as a blocker, which is surprising when you take into account his subpar length. His lateral movement is solid, but it's nothing special, so when I saw how much range he actually had as a blocker, I was shocked. Even though he has good range, he is a little prone to elusive rushers, and even basic sweep moves will get him off his assignment. As an overall blocker, though, he shows a lot of confidence with great leverage and a solid NFL skill set. He can work on many things, but the film doesn't lie. He is a solid blocker who should translate well. I'm giving Wypler a B grade, which translates to a mid-second round talent. My original number 1 comes in at number 2, and that is guard O'Cyrus Torrence out of Florida. Torrence is a nice prospect with a solid frame, and if he can start using that frame to his advantage more, he will mold into an elite offensive guard. Torrence is not a dual threat blocker, but he is elite in run blocking. He is explosive from the snap and immediately creates room on the line. He has a nice physical skill set, so pushing and or maintaining run defenders will not be an issue for him. For pass blocking, though, he does struggle to pick up elusive blitzers, especially off the edge. Any elusive edge who moves to attack the inside will have a field day against Torrence. His strength is good, but his ability to cover a wide range is not, so working on interior defensive linemen will work best for him. He does have solid awareness in pass protection, though. Again, he may not have the best ability to block in the pass, but he does a nice job at holding off incoming blitzers no matter the skill set, even elusive rushers. His technique and leverage are great as well. From the point of attack, he brings nice physicality in both the run and the pass. While he's better in run protection, there is no doubt that his hands, footwork, and overall technique is worth mentioning. Often the technique is what helps him win in the pass game, but it is still a bit rare to see a long streak of pass rush wins for Torrence. As a prospect, Torrence has solidified himself as the best run blocker in this class, but he will need to work on his run blocking if he wants to be reliable for any franchise. Yet, I do see a lot of potential in him, and he could develop into an elite run blocker while maintaining solid pass protection. I'm giving Torrence a B grade, which translates to a mid-second round pick. Coming out at the top of the interior offensive line list is Minnesota center John Michael Schmitz. Schmitz is a better prospect than I originally expected, and it's primarily due to his very wide skill set that shows success at all levels. First, Schmitz is a dual threat on the line. For pass blocking, Schmitz is fantastic at picking up any defender and giving them hell. He works well on his feet, and with a wide range, he can stop any elusive rusher on a majority of snaps. He does have some questions with his hand placement though, as he may be called for holding penalties a solid amount at the next level. Nonetheless, in the run, he shows an explosive start with power straight to the point of attack. On some snaps, he does keep the grip and just pushes forward, which could be a concern to his technique, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He wasn't elite in the run game in any season, but he will definitely translate to a great run blocker. Adding on to his strength, he uses his power in both ways of blocking. Especially in the run, he consistently pushes intimidating defenders backwards and can easily be a pancake monster in the run game. A problem with this though is that while his film showcases great power, his rush win rate and pass win rate may have been inflated due to being utilized in many different double team scenarios. If Schmitz happens to face a stronger defender, he may lose his balance, as it was a slight issue with Minnesota. If he was being run past on the inside, he was sometimes just pushed down or dragged down and struggled to keep his balance, in which quick reactors will swiftly shut the play down. Schmitz has things to work with, but as a prospect, he has fantastic instincts with great attributes, like physical traits, footwork, and overall athleticism. Schmitz is my favorite interior offensive lineman in this draft, receiving an A- grade, translating to a mid to late first round pick. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 offensive lineman list. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Chase Keller from Chase Keller Journalism, and thank you guys so much for choosing this channel as your source of sports coverage. See you guys in the next one.